evening and welcome to this post-game press conference following the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 um, 2027 Group A fixture opposing Cameroon against South Sudan and Cameroon, the victors 78 to 74. We've now been joined by the head coach of South Sudan, Coach Royal Ivy, and of course the captain of that team, Jackson McCoy. Jackson, can you give us your comments about today's game?
Honestly, I'm proud of the whole group. You know what I mean? Both players and stuff. This was a very hostile environment. Definitely the most hostile I've played in ever since I started playing international basketball. But yeah, I don't look at that as a negative whatsoever. You know what I mean? These things happen. Basketball is a game and runs of ups and downs, and you have to play. You have to win. You have to lose. You know what I mean? Like to get better. So regardless of the result, I'm proud of this group, and I know that we'll learn from it and come back better. But overall, I'm happy. I'm happy with the result and the way that we came out and played. And we never gave in. So I can't argue about that. Can't be mad at that at all.
Coach, your perspectives about today's game?
Uh, Tough loss. I'm proud of my group. Like Jackson was saying, this is a resilient group. We were down 16 in a hostile environment on the road, and we cut it to 5 with 30 seconds to go. We gave ourselves a chance, and the game of basketball is somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. At the end of the day, it's just a game, and you're never really losing. It's just lessons. So we'll get better in the next qualifying rounds. And build from this. It's just more motivation, and I've seen a lot of good things, and this team is very connected, like I always come back to say. And the game is about ebbs and flows, and Cameroon went on a run, we went on a run late, and some of our shots didn't fall. We were 5 for 23 from the three, they were 10 for 30. You make a couple more, that's a difference in the game, and it's a game of inches. And they were the better team tonight, and you give kudos to those guys, and maybe down the line we'll see them again. So we don't hang our heads down. We just come back, and we're going to compete just like we do every day. So yeah. It's a lesson. It's not a loss.
Thank you, Coach. We'll now take questions for the captain, Jackson McCoy. Are there any questions? Est-ce qu'il y a des questions pour le capitaine Jackson McCoy?
Hello, Jackson. Namron J from Corner 3 podcast. We saw in the fourth quarter, you guys came back very close to the Lions, only down 4 with a couple of minutes left in the game. What you guys were like discussing and put it in place to come back, but you fell short at the end, and the game just slipped away at the end. How did you guys manage?
I mean, being in that position, there's really not too much to say. Like your back is against the wall. Like you have to come out and compete. You know what I mean? We understood that it's either you give up, or you go out there and you give it 150%, which is what we did, and that's the reason we were able to cut it close. But yeah, there wasn't too much talking besides like, yo, you know what I mean? It's either we want to win or we want to lose. There's literally no in between. There's no other decisions that can be made in that moment. There's nothing else to talk about. Come out and compete, and we'll live with the results. And I'm happy that we're able to do that.
Any other questions for the captain?
Hello, Jackson. My name is Bentley Anchunda for CRTV, Cameroon Radio Television. Yesterday, I spoke with Bile. And Bile said it was going to be a revenge, because the last time you guys met, I think it ended 60-55 in favor of Cameroon. Can we say you people were unable to go to the challenge and revenge? What did not work for the team that we think is one of the best in the continent when it comes to basketball?
He's very much of a competitor, So if those were the words that he used, I get where he's coming from. But for me, it's never really a revenge or trying to beat somebody, by a certain amount. It's just like we're always trying to come out and compete and be our best selves. You know what I mean? We always have to grow as a team, and every group that we have has never been the same. So for us, it's about playing the game the right way, getting better, and just learning how to move forward. But I get what you're saying. Every game, it probably came from a competitive standpoint, but I would never really call it a revenge thing. But like again, like Coach said, credit to Cameroon. They came out, they played their great basketball. That's one of the hardest games that we've ever played against. So, credit to them. They did a good job. But, we're just focused on ourselves and just always finding ways to get better. That's really all it is.
We'll take a last question for Jackson McCoy. If there are no questions, we'll move over to Coach Rhea Ivy.
Young fella back there had a question.
You got a question, brother?
All right, to that gentleman over there.
Good evening, Jackson. Daniel Lana, and I wanted to ask you two questions. I wanted to ask you first if you think tonight it was just a lucky shot for the Cameroonian team. Are you better than them? And then the second question I wanted to ask you is that if the circumstances was different, do you think your team will have win?
What was the second question, sorry?
If the circumstances
The
was different,
circumstances were different.
Like I said earlier, credit to those guys. They're a very good team. I'm not going to say who's better and who's not because every game is going to be different. Nobody's going to beat a team every time and nobody's going to lose every time. They're a very talented team. We're a very talented team. They came out tonight and they played better. Basketball is a game of ups and downs, so it's not about who's better. It's about who plays the game the right way and comes out and competes. So like I said, credit to them. On the other hand, circumstances don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who we've got on our side, who they've got on their side. I'm not going to say if we did this or that different, we would win or lose, because that's not what happened. And I'm going to take the loss on the chest. It is what it is. Circumstances don't matter. Whoever's out there, whoever came with us, we came to play. If things didn't work out, that's what it is. Circumstances never really matter.
We'll now take questions for Coach Royal Ivy. Are there any questions for the coach? Est-ce qu'il y a des questions pour Coach Royal Ivy? We'll take a last from that gentleman over there.
Daniel Lana again. I wanted to ask you, I saw your team over the tournament and it is a really young team. I wanted to know how do you do to manage them and to keep them in the game? Because if it was me, I would just sleep the game out long ago.
That's a great question. You're talking about the youth of our team. Just each window is, different individuals coming to the team. So as a coach, I have to have the mindset of how I'm going to fit the pieces in the right way. And, we had a week to prepare, and that's what I did. I had to fit the pieces in the right way. And I think the pieces fit, and it's, for me, it's not the outcome. It's about the journey. It's about the process. It's about going about it the right way. And these guys went about it the right way. They competed, they showed up on time, they did everything I asked for them to do. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance to win. And, the outcome wasn't what we wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, we move on and we'll get better from this. This is just motivation, keeping it back in your head. It's a bittersweet taste at the same time, and you move on. That's how life is. You move on. You take the wins with the wins and the losses with the losses, but you keep your head high and you stay resilient and you keep on fighting and you keep on smiling, because guess what? We vertical. We still here. My feet are here. I'm in Africa. I'm thankful for the opportunity to coach this great team, this great country. And, I don't take this for granted, man. This is something I leave my kids to come do this. And definitely it was a hard decision, but I love basketball, and that's why I show up every time. And I'm proud of these guys, and they did everything I asked them to do. And the results are the results, and we move on. So that's it.
We have a minute. We can take a last question for Coach Royal Ivy. Are there any questions for Coach Royal Ivy? Yes, Bentley.
Coach, you had a good game. It was a great game. Of course, we can describe it as a clash of the titan, the final before a final. If you were to go back to the drawing board and work on some aspects, what will you be working on?
If I could change the hands of time, I'll bring a lot of my people back. But at the end of the day, I can't change the hands of time. So that's a relevant question for me.
I think that question there, that answer there from Coach Rhea Ivy does it for this post-game press conference. Coach, thank you very much. Jackson, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the second part of this post-game press conference. We now have with us the head coach of Cameroon, Coach Alfred Aboya, and of course the captain of that team, Fabien Ateba. A gentle reminder that Cameroon overpowered South Sudan 78 to 74. And I'll begin with you, Ateba. Your views about today's performance from Cameroon.
On a fait le match qu'on voulait. On est à 3 sur 3 aujourd'hui. Il faut qu'on pense au deuxième tour maintenant. Il nous reste 6 matchs et on espère aller à ces victoires.
Coach Alfred Aboya, your perspectives about today's game?
I thought it was, first of all, I always like to congratulate the team that we're playing against, South Sudan, for the effort that they gave us. It's a never die team. They play for 40 minutes. Even when they were down, they kept fighting. So kudos to them on the fight. For us, it's a huge step forward that we took. We bent, but we never break. So we're happy about the performance and the win. And now we have, time to celebrate and then start thinking about what's coming next.
Thank you, Coach Alfred Aboya. We'll now take questions for team captain Fabien Ateba. Are there any questions for the player? Dania.
Bonsoir Fabien.
Bonsoir.
Du coup, ce sera 2 questions en une. Bon, tu devines déjà la seconde.
One question, please. Une question.
2 questions en une.
Une question, s'il vous plaît.
L'une en entraînant l'autre. En fait, hier, tu as donné le max, comme si c'était le dernier jour, alors qu'on aurait pensé que c'est aujourd'hui qu'il fallait donner le max. Du coup, ça nous a aidés, parce qu'il semblait qu'il y avait un petit relâchement. Donc, comment tu expliques ça? Et du coup, l'une entraînant l'autre, au vu des leçons apprises de ce match d'hier et celui d'aujourd'hui, comment on entrevoit donc le groupe E, qui sera constitué quand même de cadors, si je peux les citer, la Guinée, la Tunisie et le Nigeria?
Tout d'abord, merci. Le match d'hier, ouais, j'ai donné pas mal d'énergie. Je pense que en tant qu'équipe, on s'est vu un peu trop beau. Et c'est pas qu'on a pris le match à la légère, mais on savait au fond de nous qu'on allait gagner le match. Et je pense qu'on a été surpris pendant le match par la Libye. Ils ont mis leur tir, ils ont été agressifs. Et c'est nous qui leur avons permis d'avoir cette confiance en eux. Maintenant, concernant le match d'aujourd'hui, je savais que on a 12 joueurs dans cette équipe qui sont capables de scorer. Je savais que Jeremiah allait élever son niveau. Je savais que Jordan allait élever son niveau. Je savais que Landry Noko allait élever son niveau. Je savais que tout le monde allait élever son niveau. Donc, je savais que j'allais être soutenu et que j'allais soutenir aussi les coéquipiers pendant ce match. Et pour ce qui arrive à la suite, je pense qu'on est premier de notre poule maintenant à la poule E. À nous de gagner tous les matchs. Et si on gagne tous les matchs, on sera forcément à la Coupe du Monde.
Are there any other questions for Fabien Ateba? To the lady. À la dame, s'il vous plaît.
Bonsoir Fabien. Merci capitaine pour les moments. C'était un très grand match. On a pris beaucoup de plaisir et je peux dire que sur les 3 jours, on pensait avoir vu, mais on a bien senti que le match d'aujourd'hui était différent et que tout le monde avait élevé son niveau. Du coup, est-ce que vous, quand même sur la fin, quand vous avez mené près de 15 points d'écart et qu'on est revenu très serré là, 3 points, est-ce que vous avez eu peur? Qu'est-ce que vous avez dit entre coéquipiers là? Parce qu'on a vu que ça s'est joué tactiquement pour sortir du match.
Tout d'abord, nous, on a un problème. Pourquoi, je sais pas, mais on se met toujours au niveau de notre adversaire. Ça veut dire qu'on peut jouer les États-Unis limite les yeux dans les yeux. C'est une blague, mais ce que je veux dire, c'est qu'on peut jouer la pire équipe et la meilleure équipe, on va matcher. Parce que je sais pas, on a ce truc en nous qui nous galvanise quand on joue les grosses équipes ou qui nous met dedans quand on joue les plus petites équipes. Mais déjà, je voulais commencer par ça. Et honnêtement, tout le match, j'étais serein. À partir du moment où j'ai vu les 2-3 premières minutes du match où on a tous été dans ce qu'on voulait, ça veut dire les empêcher de courir. Ils voulaient nous puncher, c'est nous qui les avons punché en premier. Et je savais qu'on allait gagner le match. À aucun moment, j'ai paniqué. Réellement, à aucun moment.
We'll take one last question for Fabien Ateba.
Bonsoir Fabien. Bonsoir capitaine. Namrod J du Corner 3 Podcast. Jeudi, 3 sur 8 à 3 points. Samedi, 7 sur 10 à 3 points. Dimanche, 3 sur 8 à 3 points. Quand on fait le calcul, ça fait un pourcentage de 49,56 à 3 points. C'est très impressionnant. Pourrais-tu nous donner ta recette ou nous expliquer dans quel état mental, comment tu te conditionnes pour être surnommé l'archer, comme c'est bien connu?
Je l'ai déjà répété 2-3 fois là, depuis le début du week-end. Je pense toujours au poisson rouge. Le poisson rouge oublie toujours. Il fait quelque chose, il oublie. Ça veut dire que je vais rater un tir où je vais le marquer. Et j'ai oublié que j'ai raté. J'ai oublié que j'ai marqué. Et ça me permet de prendre le prochain tir avec la même confiance tout le temps, tout le temps, tout le temps. Que je rate ou que je mette. Pour moi, c'est comme si je n'avais pas tiré avant. Voilà, c'est ma seule explication.
And that answer there from Fabien Ateba brings us to the questions for Coach Alfred Aboya. Do we have any questions for Coach Alfred Aboya? Well, I mean, Jeremiah Hill is in the hall and he has a question for his coach, so we'll take it.
Jeremiah Hill, your starting point guard. Yesterday in our press conference, they spoke to us about South Sudan coming into the game with some revenge that they wanted. How do you handle today, and how do you think they felt about their revenge today?
Thank you for your question. I think the revenge went badly, terribly badly, unfortunately. But I think Fabien said something earlier when we were talking. I think we were the one looking for revenge, really, because if you remember, last World Cup qualifier, we were in the same group with South Sudan, and they crushed us, both games we played. So last time we played, we, have one win, and now we tied. So I think we back to be equal. So happy about the win, and we'll move on to the next one.
Any other questions for Coach Alfred Aboya? That gentleman over there.
Good evening, sir. I'm Daniel Lana, and great game first. Yes, and today the energy of your team your team had a lot more energy than yesterday, and I wanted to know how did you do to boost them? This is the first question, and the second question, it is around the third and the fourth quarter when the other team was catching up. I wanted to know how you did to manage your player to stop doing foul and bring them back in the game.
Thank you for your question. I think for the first question, what changes the public is you guys. You know, a lot of you guys came and support us. There was a different energy in the room, and we feed off of that. That's one. And also, Captain Fabien just mentioned how the bigger the opponent, we raise our level. So we have that within us, within our team, within our DNA. So that was the change. For your second question, so a lot of things happen at the end of the game between player filing out and sending new player, in that, because we have a certain player taking the ball out, and we're confused who was taking the ball out, and so those things, I think the players that were in, they just managed the situation the best they could. We got a few turnovers there, but we knew they were behind the score, and the clock was our friend. So we were able to send Jordan to the line, and then he killed the game at the line.
We have time for one last question for Coach Alfred Aboya. To the lady over there.
Thank you very much. Coach, can you tell us what you felt about your opponent? Were they up to the level you thought they would be? Was the difficulty what you thought? Was it higher or?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I'm talking about your opponents, South Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
Were they up to what you thought they would be when you were coming to the match? Yes. And what about the players? Because some people complain about the players that they didn't have. And I see even in the other continent, people have their best players for the qualifiers. You still have players who didn't come. So are they coming for the next round? Thank you.
So in life, in poker, in everything, you have to play with the card that you dealt with. All right. So they would, they have the card, we have us. Also, we can say that we didn't have all our players, but we're not going to go that route. I think when you wear the jersey of your country, you go to a fight. You go to a fight. And playing South Sudan, we knew what type of team. They've been the best African country for the past 3-4 years. So when you get to that top of the mountain, everybody is coming for you. So that's the mentality we have going in. We didn't care who was there, who was not there. And we went, we fought, and we came out victorious.
And that answer there from Coach Alfred Aboya brings an end to this post-game press conference. Coach, thank you. Fabien, merci beaucoup. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.